Last couple of days, players have made themselves a ton of money. Now for the Houston Texans, who makes sense to pick at 28, or should they consider moving up for a generational S tight end?
You are Locked On Texans, your daily podcast on the Houston Texans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Battle Red Nation, from H-Town to your town. Today's episode and every episode of the Locked On Texans podcast is for Texan fans all around. Fun show lined up today. We're going to dive into the NFLPA rankings for the Houston Texans. What do these rankings say about Houston now, and what could it possibly mean for the future? Haulcy back in H-Town. I did my draft coverage on AJ Haulcy out of LSU, but he is a Houston kid out of Mo City. So I wanted to give you guys the full conversation from over this past week. And again, just if he's a fit for Houston and if they can get him in Houston to be a running mate for a running mate with,
You are Locked On Texans, your daily podcast on the Houston Texans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Battle Red Nation, from H-Town to your town. Today's episode and every episode of the Locked On Texans podcast is for the Texan fans all around. Fun show lined up for you today. The NFLPA rankings drop for the Houston Texans. What does that mean for Houston now and possibly for the future? AJ Haulcy, full interview. I'm going to drop that for you guys on today's show. We can make sure you find this to make sense to get back to Houston to be a running mate with Kenyon Sadiq, but also just standouts from the combine. I think there's some guys who made themselves some money. There are also some guys who you may look at them and say, could it be all hype? What does the tape say? So you got to make sure you balance the drills, the athletic testing, and also what translates to the field. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get into for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. The combine events really gave us a lot to talk about. You got Lorenzo Styles, you're on 4.27 40. Them Ohio State guys are blazing fast. I mean, goodness gracious. They're doing everything. You also got was it Sonny Styles? He had a great combine, but there are some players, and we know now he's at 28, that I thought did some things. And I'm specifically looking at the unit, and I'm looking at the unit because there's a couple of guys that I just have some standout days and moments over the past couple of days here at the combine. Caleb Banks here at 4.0440. He's a guy I think really grew his stock over this week. Good athletic profile. He missed all but 3 games in 2025. Fifth-year player. Started his career out at Louisville. 6'6", 330. Good punch when attacking. Has good feet. Has a good feel for who to attack when anticipating a double team. I think that's pretty good. On film, he takes time to disengage. That's the concern of mine, especially when you're dealing with some of these strong brothers at the next level. And feels like he's still putting it all together. And he, like I said, he missed a chunk of last year, which would have really helped him in his development. The 2024 tape is much better than the 2025 tape, obviously. But what stood out to me between 24 and 25 was just playing weight and body movement. 25, it looked like it was just a little bit tad bit slower than the previous year. But another guy that I like more and more coming out of this week, Lee Hunter, Texas Tech, quick feet, got some bendiness to him, just a little bit, not a lot. And because of it's not a lot, I think that could be a knock towards him. And when I look at his film, there are moments where he's playing himself out of the play. A great swim move, but it's hard to tell the effectiveness of that swim move if it's one opposite of the play. And I think that's a concern. But, I mean, he's tested great this week, gaining noise for himself. He can play himself into early second round pick. And I think what he really brings, because of his size, right? He really likes to play and use his size as his superpower, right? Big dude. Looking at let's see, I'll get you guys the measurements. I had it up, but he's a big guy. He's a big guy, and you look how his play benefited the guys around him. And for the Houston Texans, you want to talk about fit. That's what they look for. They rotate D tackles in and out. But the main goal for the Houston Texans D tackles, how are you helping the edge? How are you helping the linebackers? And for Lee Hunter, 5'18", pretty decent, 6'3", 318. In a lot of ways, can put me in mind a little bit of the D tackle that's already Houston excuse me, Tim Settle, excuse me. But he could be a linebacker's best friend at the next level on early downs, right? And with the Nico Ryans who they rotate those guys, you see guys at the end on the first down, then I see him on third down, we see him on second down on one position, then I see him. So they do a good job of getting different players on the field on the inside. But I like what Lee Hunter brings. I was able to speak with someone from Texas Tech, and he is gaining some speed in terms of draft. So just behind the scenes, he's putting in their work, interviewing great. And I also like some of the things that defensive tackle from Oklahoma, Grace Hampton, has done this week, and he's tested very well. 6'3", 293, could be Houston's version of a Mario Edwards. What you take a stab at him. Also, running back with Caleb Banks, some of the things that he does, and what makes him so versatile. Um, he'll line up in the B gap. He'll line up over the tackle a little bit. He's just a guy that I think for an NFL team this past year, like I mentioned, he only played in 3 games, 62 snaps in the B gap, 25 over the tackle. 313 last year, B gap, 91 over the tackle. So obviously, I'm not saying that he's an over the tackle player, but that is a part of his game. And I think because of his athletic profile and some of the things, problems that he can present, especially when you look at maybe when you stun him back inside. With D'Amico Ryans, Will Anderson, D'Amico Hunter, I think that's scary. He be coming into a situation where he may not be the fourth best defensive player on that line, right? They'll use him in situations that can really exploit offensive teams. But I got to talk about the tight ends. Tanner Cozell, 4'7", 40 pounds, right? Y'all know I talked about him a lot. Scouts are really worried about him going to get level, more so due to his frame and not necessarily his effort, right? He got to put some muscle on. He's a tall guy, but there isn't a lot of – he's not a big tall guy, right? He's not a muscular tall guy. He's a tall guy. Eli Stowers ran a 4.5 40. He had a great vert jump, 4.5 140, a 45.50 vert jump. Few people have talked about Stowers in terms of what concerns them is his weight and his inline blocking struggles or concerns, more so the consistency. But you cannot deny his athletic ability. But I said it once and I'll say it again. If Houston crushes it during free agency with getting quality offensive linemen, and they've already talked about, hey, they're going to be in the market for a high-end running back, that could be the smoke screen, but it also could be an indication that they're going to upgrade the running back position in this year's draft. If they miss on the running back, which you got Travis Etienne available, Rico Dowdle available, Josh Jacobs going back to Green Bay. They can address it in the draft if they miss it in free agency. But there's a player that I said I'd trade up for, and that was Kenyon Sadiq, Oregon tight end. This was before the combine. And we're not even at the pro day yet. 4.39 40, which is faster than Odell Beckham Jr. Let's look at some of the athletic profile that he has is ridiculous. He 4.39 40, same as Jonathan Taylor, faster than Odell Beckham. 103 broad jumps, same as Dez Bryant. 43.5 vertical, higher than Vince Carter. 6'3", same as Julio Jones. 241 pounds, same as LeGarrette Blount. 23.2 miles per hour on a run, same as He also bench pressed 225 23 times. I mean, this young man is a freak of nature. He is a player worth trading up for. And here's the thing: his athletic profile matches his tape because of his usage in Oregon. He was moved around a lot in Oregon, which created mismatch that allowed for him to thrive in what he does well. The dream of him lasting to the 20s may be over, officially over. The scenario where KC, if they do not get Jeremiah Love, they may draft Sadiq as the heir apparent to Travis Kelce. I can see the Rams wanting to get in on Sadiq or Carolina. The scenario is mentioned on the Pat McAfee show that they are picking at 28 right now, but that can change. Sadiq is absolutely worth moving up for. This is in my opinion, and I think for a team that has not drafted a good tight end or a good lasting tight end, a Pro Bowl tight end talent since Owen Daniels, this could change a lot for this offense, considering that I don't think that Nick Haley had the pieces to do everything that he wanted to do last year because he didn't have a tight end too. He didn't have a guy with an athletic profile at that tight end position that could do some of the things that made Gronk special, that made Aaron Hernandez special, right? He could be the guy. Up next, the full conversation with AJ Haulcy. Let's hear what he has to say. And before that conversation, guys, it's important to talk about how you got a chance to make it to the NBA Finals with FanDuel. Sitting here in my hotel thinking to myself, yeah, I want to get in on this action. Just like myself, if you've ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live in person, FanDuel is giving you a chance to turn that dream into reality with their NBA sweepstakes. And here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you will automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for 2 flights, tickets, the whole experience. If you're already looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run this playoffs, this is the perfect time to lock it in. So visit FanDuel.com to get started and use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Welcome back, Locked On Texans listeners and viewers. Before we dive into the media interview with AJ Haulcy, I broke it for you guys. Just an FYI, the Commanders are expected to release their starting center, Tyler Biadasz. He started 31 games in the last 2 seasons, generally viewed around the league as an above-average center. We'll revisit the center conversation because Cushenberry from the Titans is also. The Texans and Will Anderson's reps are prioritizing a deal that will probably make him the highest paid pass rusher in the NFL. If I had a guess, with especially Marcus Arias, some of these max guys, I say Anderson should see a 3-year deal with a $48 million AAV. I can't wait to dive into that. But let's go ahead and hear from Mo City's own AJ Haulcy, safety DB from LSU, who also spent time at the University of Houston. Playing for multiple defensive coordinators in college, does that prepare you for the next level? And how does your versatility, in your opinion, how do you think that translates to the next level?
For sure, I feel like I had 5 different DCs my college career, and I feel like each scheme just got easier and easier just for my knowledge and from what I learned the previous year. And also my versatility, I feel like it'll help me and also my team and also my teammates, just because I can go from different position to position, whichever position is available to compete for.
Do you see yourself coming back to playing for the Houston Texans at any time?
You repeat that?
Do you see yourself coming back to playing in Houston? At least for some time at U of H. Also, have you met with the Houston Texans at all?
No, I have not met with the Houston Texans, but I love to come back and play for my city. I feel like with each system, it taught me different things. My first system, we had a 3-3-5, where we was running a 3-3-5 defense, and I feel like going into my next year where we ran a 2-high shell instead of a 3-high, that was just a lot different, and I feel like I learned like the ins and outs of the 2-high. Then I had the 3-3-5 background, and then also we played a lot of 1-high last year, so I just feel like going through each system, you're picking up different things, and then what can hurt you and what can help you in each coverage and each scheme.
Throughout this week, has there been any moment where this process has been overwhelming, and in those moments, have you been able to lean on either teammates that are going through this process as well, or teammates back in LSU?
This process has been amazing. I just want to say I thank God. Just for him leading me here and him giving me the ability to be here right now. And I want to say I lean on God a lot. I lean on God each and every day. I pray, and each and every night, each and every morning. I feel like me and God relationship is the reason I'm here. And I have leaned on a few of my former teammates. Devon and Chain, he's with the Miami Dolphins, and Matthew Golden with the Green Bay Packers. I just chop it up with those guys about the whole process with finding my agent, what can I expect from the 40, and just things like that.
I know you mentioned breaking down the film, and that's an area that you really pride yourself in, but as a third level defender or second level, if you come down, how important it is for the linebackers and D linemen to do their job so the safety unit and the DBs all together can have a good successful good drive.
It's a team sport, so I feel like everybody has to do their 111. It's 11 guys on the field for each team at a time, so I feel like it's very important for those guys to do their job, but it's very important for me to help those guys or clean those guys up if they make a mistake. So I feel like it's very important for the second level, third level, as well as the first level to all do their job at the same time.
I love that conversation back and forth with AJ Haulcy. The guy in many ways has been through a lot. 5 DCs during his college time. I think that's a lot, but it also speaks to starting out at one school, getting to the Big 12. After you spend time at the Big 12 because of the transfer portal, you're able to go to the SEC, and there's not a drop-off in his play. Not only is there not a drop-off in his play elevates. Not only does his play elevate, but his play is elevating with the elevated competition, right? The Big 12 is great. The landscape is changing across college football. This past year, Indiana wins a national championship. They've never been known for football. Texas Tech, because of their money, they've been able to build a great program. James Madison makes it to the college football play. So, like ball, in my opinion, I'm skeptical about the transfer portal. I think there needs to be rules applied, but the talent is spread out. That said, the SEC, in many ways, is still the SEC. And he played very well in the SEC. I talked about it on the player profile for the additional draft cover show. Like, he has things he needs to work on. Change of direction, I think, is one of them. Coming down, playing in the box, I think he's a much better box tackler. Open field, that's where you see his missed tackles and some of the blunders. But overall, I think he makes a lot of sense in Houston based off of they need a young running mate to go with Kalen Bullock. And I know people are saying Reed out of Penn State, and Reed had some moments for Houston last year. But here's the thing. Reed, did he stand out last year? No, he did not. Does he deserve another year, obviously, to prove that he can play ball? When he did have some moments last year, he had some good moments. Injuries derailed a lot, but that doesn't mean the Houston Texans should not take another safety. Whether it's Haulcy or not, they shouldn't just bank on, we got Reed. I think that's irresponsible because when things broke down last year, many times you saw guys was just like, who is this guy? They just sent him out the practice squad. Who is this guy? Is he allowing a big play? Get him off the field. Like, how many times did you guys say that? Plenty of times. So I think depth is important. And the upside for Reed coming out last year and Haulcy coming out this year, the upside, the ceiling belongs to Haulcy. And also Jalen Petrie, who's also a hometown product. Daniil Hunter, hometown product. It wouldn't hurt to get another hometown product, right? Shout out to Mo City. But when we get back to NFLPA rankings for the Houston Texans for where they could possibly go next. More on Locked On Texans Podcast. You want to stick around for this. I'm here at the Combine because I am interested in how everything is going to turn out for this year's draft. But there's also another draft that you also need to be interested in, and that is the 5-Hour Energy Flavor Draft with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, and Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. The board is set. The flavors are ready. I've gotten my number one pick. I've already picked Confetti Craze. My mom picked Cherry. But what will the group chat pick? I asked the group chat their flavors to choose from. Big bowl berry flavor. They want the berry flavor. Slightly sweet, very fruity flavor. Classic mixed berry flavor with notes of raspberry and blackberry. Smooth sweetness without being overly sugary. Light tartness that keeps it balanced. Familiar, easy to recognize fruit profile is going number 3 overall in this year's flavor draft. But the best part about all of these flavors, the 5-Hour Energy shots give you a boost with 0 sugar. Find your favorite flavor of 5-Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. I want to close out today's episode just looking at a couple of things for the Houston Texans. The NFLPA, we got the grades back for Houston. And they got high grades across the board. Ownership, it's a player survey, by the way. Ownership A, head coach A-, general manager A-, field C+. Put a pin in that. I'll be back. Team training camp B-. Treatment of families B-. Special team coordinator A, defensive coordinator A, offensive coordinator A-. Strength coaches A, position coaches B+. Training staff A, weight room A, locker room B+, training room A, food and dining area A, nutrition dietitian A. Two things that I wanted to point out here. Offensive coordinator A-. I mean, hey, that's a good thing, right? That's a good sign. You got an A- player survey. They view their offensive coordinator, Nick Caley, in high regards. Now, the biggest thing, home field got a C+. We've all been in high school where some classes you can wake up in your sleeping pass classes, right? You don't really got to study. Then there's that one class where it feels like, man, I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's the teacher. I don't know if I need extra tutoring. I don't know if I need to come early, stay late. I don't know what I need to do, but I cannot get the grade that I absolutely want. I'm not failing, but I'm not getting the grade I want. And when you get to that point with those classes, something has to change. For the Houston Texans, home field, C+. I think that speaks to, what did we just announce in the last week? Toro District. It's going to be great. Practice facility is going to be an enhanced experience. You got everything around it that's going to be amazing. Family and friend oriented. That's going to be great. Home field, C+. Ladies and gents, what I'm getting at is, for the Houston Texans, what they want is to have what Dallas has, what many NFL stadiums across the country are building, a stadium where it's an all-day experience. You want to get there early with your family and friends. You'll have access to many different things. You'll be in a part of town where it feels safer. If it's not an eyesore, right? The stadium itself, which has gone through renovation after renovation, this last offseason, I asked the McNairs about, what are they doing to enhance game day experience? And this is when they talked about putting in, let's see, I'll play the video for you. Do I have the video? I do not have the video, but this is when they talked about upgrading with the sound system and things of that nature. For Houston, this is a clear indication that from the player survey, we can't stay at the NRG Stadium past the lease. The lease is going to be up within, I think, 5 years. Toro District will be up in 3 years. They're out. I don't see a scenario where in the future Houston is not playing at a different location. I just don't see that happening. I see Houston moving on. I look at what's going on with the NRG on the outside, right? I think players look at that. The home field. And here's another thing. Home field also points to the lack of a home field advantage. Like, all of that needs to be accounted for when you look at the home field being a C. What was it? C plus. Everything else, A's and B's. C plus. And I think that's been on the nice side. But why is it a C? Like, do the players feel this way because of the home field advantage? If that's the case, the home field advantage needs help with fans coming out. You got to make it to where fans can come out. You got to make it to where fans want to come out. Nothing about the NRG right now. And this is unfair because the last 3 seasons you got winning football, right? You got a team that's going to the playoffs, can't win them all, right? But they're going to the playoffs, they're getting playoff wins. Fans, it's still hard to get fans in the stadium. And then also the stadium itself. It needs upgrades, it needs work. So I love that this is a player survey. I love how it's coming out. I love what this insinuates, but I think it's impossible to not look at that grade compared to every other grade and not think, wow, what do the McNairs need to do to improve that grade? Now, there's only one thing that they can do. So the city of Houston, Harris County, y'all get ready for a new stadium proposal soon, because I just see it happening. Thank you for watching today's episode of the Locked On Texans Podcast. Please be sure to subscribe, like, and comment on YouTube and wherever you listen to your podcast. Follow me on Twitter at John_Hickman12 and on Instagram at SomeSportsGuy. Until next time, ladies and gents, Texan fans across the nation, peace.